So when you're going to choose an employer, obviously that's sort of the point of being in school here. So you want to know where you want to go in your career. Do you want to work at a big corporation? Do you want to work in a small office? You should give that some thought before you go to the career fair and before you start building your resume, because you want to tailor all of these things to work together to get you where you want to go. And so, do you want to go and work at a BDO, which is a mid-sized, like larger firm, or do you want to go and work at a smaller firm, or do you want to go work in a family business somewhere? It really varies. So when you think about where you want to go, a couple of things to keep in mind are going to be whether they're a new, fast-growing company like a startup, or a long time been around established business. As well, you want to think about mostly the people, because they're who you're going to work with every day, who you have to make sure that you don't get too angry at you if you're not coming in that day or whatever. And the type of work that the business does is going to feed into the culture of the business. So if it's a construction company you want to work at, do you get along with construction workers? Because that's important. So yeah, obviously keep in mind where you want to work, and keep that in mind in order to tailor your resume, your interview skills to what you want to do.
With that said, though, I mean, you guys mentioned how many internships you actually have available. So I do want you guys to be aware that you're competing against candidates from Grand Valley, Western, Ferris, Michigan State, Aquinas, Calvin, Cornerstone. So there's a lot of people that apply for these positions, and so I don't want for you to limit the companies that you talk to when you go to the career fair. I want for you to make sure that you're hitting all 14 of them, so that you aren't limiting that possibility of landing an internship for yourself. Okay, you just want to make sure you have as many options as possible, but then certainly afterwards, when it's time to land in that corporate or in that professional role, then it's time for you to totally take into consideration size of company, etc. So yeah, just don't limit yourself at the fair, that's all.
Obviously having a job is important. So.
Right, well, Judy, Grant, and I will probably grab you if you've only been in the room for about 15, 20 minutes and you think you're done. So we'll probably grab you to say, no, please come back and talk to this particular firm.
You said there's going to be 14?
14,
That's
yes.
great.
We're up to 14.
I think when I went through it, there was like 6 or 7.
5 or 6,
yeah.
yep.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then going along with how you know which employer to choose. Like I said, the office size and the feel of the office. I'm assuming at the career fair there's going to be your smaller regional firms, and then your mid-sized firms like us, and possibly Big Four.
Actually 3 mid-size, so it'll be you, Plant Moran, and Raymond, and then there are 11 small firms.
Okay, so you have good variety there.
Mm-hmm.
Staff and management responsibilities, corporate responsibility and volunteerism. That's kind of going along with how much you want to be involved in the community. All firms are different. Like I said, we're very involved in the community, so if you like that, it's just like a double bonus for you. You get the good experience with the work, but you also get to do some volunteering if that's the kind of thing that you want to do. Your overall interview experience, I think this is where going into all 14 employers is key, because if you only go to 3 or 4, well, you're just limiting yourself to those 3 or 4 employers. So if you go to all 14, maybe you're going to get 4 or 5 different interviews, small and big size firms, and then based on those interviews that you go to, you'll be able to gauge what's going to be a better fit for you, and that's just going to give you a better intern experience overall. Salary and benefits. I think with bigger firms, you're going to get greater opportunity for higher earnings down the road. and then just your personal preferences. What, in the end, what employers are going to fit you the best that you visit at the career fair.
Mitch, you did touch on the fact that you found BDO, you went out to them, and actually I believe that happened with all 4 of these people that are up here. BDO, this will be the first year that they are at our CPA career fair, so that's in large part due to our alum who have been very good advocates on our behalf to try to get BDO at our fair. But with that said, I do want you to know that out on the Career Services website is the listing of the firms that will be there. Plus, I've included information about other firms that will not be there, so that you're aware there are lots of other opportunities you should be seeking out and applying for. So, yeah, good for you guys for landing in BDO without that connection
Sharon, may I
necessarily.
ask a question? On the upcoming all-college fair on October 21st, is there a
Yes.
list of all those employers as well?
There is on Grand Valley's site, so I'll just have to go find that and then we can get it added to the Blackboard community, maybe as a link.
I think that would be useful, because if you're going to go to that October 21st fair, you may want to look at the list of employers and target specific employers. And again, do your homework on the ones that you would like to be employed by. And I don't think it's ever a bad idea that if you really like a firm and you're a student, ask them if they'll do job shadows. That's a great way to have a conduit into the
Yeah.
organization. Talk to them about the substance of what the accounting jobs are that they have at that particular place. And at the same time, you're introducing yourself and you're asking, do you do internships? Would you consider it? How would I go about seeking one? So, you know, job shadows can be a very powerful networking tool that you can use to get where you want to go.
I'll make sure that I get that list or that link added to our career site or career
Or
services
just copy
website
and
as
put up
well.
our own list,
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about different businesses. I'm just going to touch on this. I mean, everyone knows about, well, maybe you don't know, but really, accounting firms, there's 3 main areas. There's the Big 4, which are giant international corporations that, you know, work with very large companies, like mostly publicly traded companies. BDO is not considered one of the Big 4. We are actually a mid-tier firm. So we work with both the very large companies that are publicly traded, and then we also work with smaller businesses as well. And then there's regional and local firms. There's tons of those around here. They're going to work with a lot more of the smaller businesses. So if you're more interested in small business, maybe you might be more interested in maybe not working in the Big 4, because you're not going to see a lot of small business working at the Big 4.
Unless you get lost.
So, yeah. You want to talk about audit?
I've got great experience in audit, so this is good. So I guess a typical audit, you have a week of planning. I think that takes place in the office before you go out into the field to the client. And then once you're at the client, you're kind of there for another 2 to 4 weeks. And then your team consists, I think it's at least 3 usually for an audit. You've got either your intern or associate, and then your senior, and then the manager and partner. It kind of all just varies on the size of your client. Bigger clients, obviously, you could have probably 4 or 5 different team members. And smaller, I think it can go as low as 2.
So at the audit, you get the information, like the first couple weeks, you review the information, you determine, Courtney, correct me if I'm wrong, you determine like materiality levels, and you determine what you need to test on. And then following that, you're gonna go into the field and you're gonna do field work, like physical inventory counts, check on salary if it's paid, check on ledgers, accounts payables, and then at the end of that, you're going to issue your statement, and that is comprised of your team all works together to complete all of that. Sorry.
All right, so taxes. So basically, instead of going out into the field to get the information, we have the client send us the information. We tell them we need more information, so they send us more. And then we prepare the tax returns based on the information that we are provided with. We don't generally travel out to the client every once in a while that's needed, but if that happens, it's generally a higher level person that does that. We're running.
Are you guys usually working by yourself? I saw the audit has a team. Do you guys work by yourself or as a team? Or
We're also, we also have teams on the tax side, almost exactly the same as the layout that audit has, kind of that associate level, then your senior manager, partner. Pretty much the exact same structure.
We do and we don't, because like we'll get all the information and then the associate will prepare the tax return. And they're technically working by themselves, but you have your team, your specified team, that's gonna review it after you and review it after them. And so all together you work together to get this return done. But then at the same time, since we're all in the office and we're all right next to each other, people are constantly talking back and forth, working with one another on issues that comes up, new tax topics that need to be discussed. So it's not like we aren't secluded by ourselves. We're constantly working with each other, but it's not, we don't all sit in a conference room together. I think that is the big difference.
Difference, yeah.
okay.